What we're trying to do is identify innovations throughout the department that folks are using in their day-to-day job to make their jobs a little more efficient, make themselves a little more productive or safer on the job. We were hoping for a good turnout and expecting a few, but I'd say we did better than expected. We had 23 total innovations throughout the state. First, second, and third place will have the option to have a certain amount of budget transferred from headquarters to the gang that came up with the innovation, so they can use it to improve that innovation, to come up with another innovation. They can use it with something they need in their day-to-day job. So the committee is made up of, there's one representative from each district, as well as a headquarters representative. And so the committee was basically responsible for organizing the event, trying to promote the event, going out to each individual district representative would go out to the maintenance units and try to let them know about what was going on, try to help identify anything that could be put forth as an innovation. The way we have it set up at the regional level is we have 3 groups of 3 districts apiece. We randomly determine who was going to be competing against each other in those groups. And the committee members from the other districts not in each particular group are going to be responsible for doing the evaluation on that group.
The idea came from the Bell Chase project, where the engineers coordinated with the contractors that were installing culverts on LA 23 to inspect their newly installed culverts. And then when this was given back, our engineers brought this to me and asked me if I could make it work. This one here is basically kind of plug and play. So you take it out of the box and it's ready to go. Initial car that came from the project, didn't have a waterproof chassis. It didn't have waterproof encased battery pack or servos or any other electronic components that you can find inside the car. And this one has all the waterproof parts, plus waterproof flashlight, and all the other attachments are basically waterproof. The main thing is retrieving it with, we used, I guess, stockroom twine. It'd be better if it had a tether or something that was a little bit stronger, but we just made do with what we had. We have a lot of failing culverts and roadways that sink and stuff like that, and they need to get under that and look inside those pipes to see if there's any failures. And if it meets the right conditions, this thing can give them a quick eyes on. I can take snippets on my computer, email those to the engineer, and then if they need to do an immediate emergency project to fix this thing because there's a collapse,
right,
or if they need to go after a contractor that failed to complete their job. Jefferson Parish actually has a closed circuit TV vehicle. They send this RV down into the culvert, and then they remotely operate it from the truck. They can watch it from a tablet. Those systems, those closed circuit TV systems generally cost, I think it's $600 per 100 foot.
Wow.
And this is way more cost effective than $600.
This is a tractor attachment that we call Dist and blade attachment, pretty much to solve our shoulder drop-off problems. This disc right here pretty much pulls up all the materials on the shoulder, and we included this also just to save us from extra trips.
For the grader.
For the grader,
Back with a grader after you pull it up, the windrow it back off. Okay. And just put it in one pass. The disc blade brings it up, and it has a blade.
And it has a blade. Yep. This was kind of fabricated in our district. Also the blade, after several trials, we kind of upgraded it over time, the needs for it. So this, the end product right here. If you have a road that has unpaved shoulder, and over time the shoulder, the aggregate shoulder pretty much settles and creates a 2-inch drop-off or more, that's the time we use this tractor attachment to solve any problems that we have, which, like Ben said, it's a safety hazard to the traveling public. We kind of figured, since this disc was readily available at that time, and we have tractor that can pretty much pull this, disc, we kind of came up with that idea that put this into good use. Since the problem exists out there, and we thought that this disc is pretty much a solution to our existing problem.
On a rutted roadway, before we'd take a motor grader, we'd dump some hot mix in the road, and we'd go back and forth with a motor grader, smearing the hot mix out, rolling it in. And there was a lot of waste, and it took a long time. So the idea that Brent Ray come up with was an attachment that fits on the front of a skid steer. It's kind of like a box, and we dump the hot mix in a windrow, and that box will just take it and confine it to the area we want. We can get a lot more done in a day than we used to before with a motor grader.
Everything on this one was built with no money. Everything come out of scrap piles. We scrapped shocks. We got chains. We got some miscellaneous bolts. The first one, original, we had some skis on it that we fabbed our own skis. Then we come back and it worked really good. So we come back and they let us buy a set of about $150 set of skis and put on it. We come up with the idea to try to keep from doing less rake work. We got an asphalt distributor, you'll see here in a little bit. It'll come down and they'll spread out asphalt in a pile, and then it'll roll it and it'll keep it confined in its space. It'll cover the box, then it's got a gauge on the side. You can actually set the fluff for the asphalt for compaction on it.
Are you limited at how wide you can go?
Well, this is our 50-inch plates, which covers for our miller. Then we have a smaller plate that does for like just real path rutting if we're doing real path rutting, but we're not limited. We can actually crank these wings out, adjust out, and it lets you get a little wider, and it'll just catch it up on the front end. Since I went to work here watching the shoulder wideners, and I've seen them cut trenches and stuff and try to patch them and take road graders and patch it back, and I said, if you can confine something, I kind of looked at you see the big dozers with the V-blades.
Yeah.
I said, if you kind of reverse that V-blade and it's a trough, it'll feed it back down instead of push it out. Shannon come over and he said, what we're gonna do? And I kind of, we was trying to figure it out, and we kind of took a piece of paper and I said, I want to make something that's gonna look like this, but we're gonna catch hot mix. And we would bring stuff, we'd have stuff extra, then we'd take it and go back and throw back.
The end result, there's been so many things added to this and removed. Oh yeah? There's so many parts that's been changed on this to get this result.
We've had a good many people calling and asking, but first thing they asked is, you got plans? Well, the plans, we didn't have no plans. Our plan was just, it was in our head. We just started building it. It's kind of like a good gumbo.
That's basically what it is.